Yeah.
Here.
I can hear you, yes. Hello, hello.
Holy crap. Those were the special needs? No.
We're about ready to start streaming, FYI. I don't know if they can take programming out of my ear or not. Got it, thanks. Yeah, just let me know when we're streaming. Okay, yeah, I got you.
Jeez.
All right, okay. Well, good evening, everyone. On this Monday, we're watching this storm very closely, moving into Huntsville from Madison. A lot of lightning. We're probably getting some hail, and the potential's there for damaging winds. This is moving to Marshall Space Flight Center here very shortly, about 5:39. So again, about 3 minutes from there. And we're looking at Ryland down the road around 6 o'clock, Gurley 6:12. Same thing around Woodville. But it's got a lot of lightning with it, and that's the main concern right now, that and the potential for hail. I'm going to turn the lightning off. And what we're going to watch here on the velocity is there's some mid-level rotation. Most likely this is responsible for producing some large hail. We're probably looking at dime, maybe nickel-size hail from this thunderstorm here, just on the south side of the Marshall Space Flight Center. The other thing I've been noticing is this storm starting to turn a bit more to the right. It was earlier moving northeast, and then it's kind of moving east, and it's turning to the right. And when that happens, it can maximize a little bit more rotation because it's kind of rotating on itself. So that's why we have to watch this very closely here as we go at least through the next 10, 20 minutes or so, because we're definitely getting the rotation here. I'm checking with the Weather Service here. Again, no warning out for this storm. Again, I think this is probably a severe thunderstorm just based on what we're seeing on the radar, damaging winds, and previous storms like this have given us trouble. This is moving across the Marshall Space Flight Center. It's going to be moving right down towards Lily Flag and over to Grissom High School. What we're tracking here right along Martin Road, this is some high wind. Most of this is still way above the ground, but where we get this wind, it's rotating. This is the actual updraft of the thunderstorm, and it's on the northern side of this where we have a tremendous amount of lightning. Right towards the Space and Rocket Center, the lightning itself is moving right into downtown Huntsville. So by all means, a dangerous lightning storm nonetheless, with very heavy rainfall here within this thunderstorm. Again, we're streaming coverage here. We're not in live continuous coverage. We're between newscasts right now. Just wanted to provide you with this weather information regarding this significant thunderstorm moving into a heavily populated area. I do want to briefly mention the areas out to the west where we have had a severe thunderstorm warning, but that warning itself has been let go by the National Weather Service office. This is moving to the Bankhead National Forest, so not as much of a threat, but still a lot of lightning with this storm southwest of Moulton. We'll take a look at the velocity here. And this severe thunderstorm.
Jackson, Madison, and Marshall.
Yeah, that's that thunderstorm we were watching earlier. Read the tags on there and see if they have anything else related to that. But this storm here, this storm started turning to the right as well. This is just outside of the viewing area here, moving into the Bankhead National Forest. We'll have to watch that for Grayson. Looks like they just may have reissued. Let's see what's going on here. That's the one they let expire. That's still a strong storm there in and around Moulton. But I got Jada in the office here helping out. But again, notice the narrow nature of this new warning they've got out here for Huntsville, moving right through downtown Huntsville. A lot of lightning and the possibility of hail. And we're watching this back end here very closely because there's just enough wind shear out there. If we get this rear flank downdraft. If we do start to get some severe hail falling from this, we could get some more rotation down here towards Triana, and this is going to be south of the Marshall Space Flight Center, the area that we would be concerned. With something on the back edge of that storm. So again, new severe thunderstorm warning. This goes till 6:45 for Madison County over into Jackson County. Primary concern, damaging straight line wind, and along with that, some large hail. If you're up here towards Harvest, your weather radio probably went off. Harvest, Monrovia, but this storm is just to the south of you. At least the worst of this is just to the south of you, just south of Highway 72.
Moving east at about 30 miles per hour.
Moving east at 30. Okay, yeah. So this is a concern here. This is mid-level rotation, mainly looking at large hail potentially with this storm. We haven't had any reports of large hail, but we had some fairly significant wind as this moved through the city of Madison just about 15 minutes ago. Switch over to storm relative velocity. Again, right over the Marshall Space Flight Center, and we may not be getting hail reports due to where it is falling over the Space Flight Center there, but we'll likely have reports if this moves into South Huntsville. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the hail threat here with this. Again, I use the VIL value for hail, but you can kind of see this really gives you a good indicator of where the large hail potentially is. Again, if there is hail in this storm, it's going to be just southeast of Toyota Field, down Zert Road, over to Marshall Space Flight Center, just south of Bridge Street, moving towards Lily Flag and Grissom High School. So pretty much tracking due east along Martin Road. So Bailey Cove Road, it's headed your way eventually. And again, this is going to be Weatherly Road, all of these areas in South Huntsville. We're looking at least dime-size hail, maybe quarter-size hail from the storm. Anything else from them, Jada?
So far, what we have seen is they do have eyes on the ground near the airport. No tornadic threats so far.
Okay.
Keeping an eye on that. So that's the biggest part that we are most concerned about. But this is moving 30 miles per hour east, and again, that hazard about 60 plus miles per hour. That is a pretty big deal of a hazard, as well as a quarter size hail. So this is also tracking alongside some large hail going into.
Yeah, I can hear it at the station right now.
Yeah.
It's almost an echo. So let me point out some of the features here on this primary thunderstorm here. It's kind of a supercell type thunderstorm. You've got this area here, and you got in the northern area. It's this area to the south that we'll watch. We're going to watch to see if this can wrap around a little bit more on the south side. However, where we're seeing everything come together is pretty uniform where you would expect a storm like this to be developing some hail. Some good news as far as down the road. It's not out by itself. Usually a thunderstorm like this, if it's all by itself, is more dangerous because it takes all that instability from the atmosphere and is able to work with that. So again, that's severe thunderstorm warning from Madison County into Jackson County for the possibility of large hail and damaging winds. It's got a lot of lightning and very heavy rain. Might actually see some flooding from this too. That circulation continues to stay there. Again, this is up in the atmosphere. It's not all the way down to the ground here, but we'll continue to monitor that. Basically, what this radar image here tells me is that we have a fairly healthy thunderstorm that's maintaining itself as it moves to the east. And occasionally we get surprises. I think last year we got a few surprises. We had that one tornado spin up on the Marshall Space Flight Center, and very little in the way of rotation was showing up. So again, it's a possibility whenever you see something like this, especially as it's getting ready to encounter the mountainous area. So we'll see what happens as it's forced to rise. Looks like it's going to go up right over Green Mountain here with that strong gusty wind. Take a look at shear rate. Again, it's all kind of focused here along Martin Road and in the Marshall Space Flight Center. Take a look at radar, and you can see the hail core. And anytime you get this purple area here, that's the hail core itself. And the reason it shows up a brighter color is because it's sending more energy back to the radar as it moves to the east. And again, you get those big shiny hailstones, and they're going to always produce more energy back to the radar. Let's go ahead and take a quick view back here farther to the west at what we're seeing. Take a look at the Mississippi radar. And just kind of give you an idea, a lot of this activity is about over with in Florence and in Russellville, as this is going to continue to track to the east. Now, even late tonight, we could probably still see some residual thunderstorm chances, but nothing will be severe, probably not even close to being strong either. So the two biggest thunderstorms right now, the one moving into South Huntsville, a lot of lightning even in the downtown Huntsville area, but the other one down here moving into the Bankhead National Forest. Very heavy rain and frequent lightning continue there in and around Moulton. But as you get west of the storm that's in Huntsville now, this is all just heavy rain and thunder, and doubtful we'll see anything severe out of that. The only exception may be the storm just to the south of Moulton. What you got, Jada?
So far, we have had some eyes outside. Haven't seen hail here at the station, but I know some folks are concerned about the timeline. So let's take a quick check. I know some folks are looking downtown here in Huntsville, looking at that timeline. So about moving roughly 30 miles per hour. But as we continue to cover this for you, what we are anticipating to see throughout the rest of tonight, still some strong storms, of course. So we're updating as we can get some information from NWS. So far, they haven't seen anything of tornadic nature. But right now, if you're around the Bridge Street, Mid-City, University Drive area, a lot of the storm is moving over you at the moment. But looking ahead to our Grissom High School, about 5:56, so about 10 or so minutes. Owen Crossroads, those folks out there, about 6:10, and Pleasant Groves around 6:35. So we still have a good ways to go with this thunderstorm. We just want to make sure, as we're in between shows at the moment, we are starting to get a lot of this information out to you.
Yeah, a lot of people question, why is there no live coverage? Because we have a newscast, actually. So again, there's so many places to find us, and hopefully you've been able to find us either on social media, our news app or weather app, and again, WFF.com. We've got YouTube channel as well. So plenty of ways to stay informed, but just tough to notify everyone at the same time. We used to just break into programming, right? And let you know at that point in time. But Jada, thanks for that help on that. What we're looking at is the strongest storm has the most intense lightning here, but we're really starting to see more heavy rain on the south side of this. So that's probably good news. We're probably going to see some of this circulation begin to fall apart a bit. However, I did mention we're watching to see how this interacts with this jump. It's going to jump about 500-600 feet as it goes up Green Mountain here and then moves towards the north side of Owens Crossroads. And of course, whenever we talk about that, we talk about Ditto Landing, Big Cove, Hampton Cove. Could see some large hail. So far, we don't have any reports. But again, this has been over Marshall Space Flight Center. We may not get a lot of reports this time of day from that area. So let's get in a little bit closer here. We got Hobbs Road, Grissom High School. This is moving right through there. Patton Road, still on parts of the arsenal out here just to the west. But again, we're just tracking mainly high wind here, and some of this wind is not all the way making it to the ground. The radar beam goes way above the ground, and in this case, a little lower than usual. But again, we're watching this for some rotation in the mid-levels. It's likely leading to large hail with that thunderstorm. And I would say, based on the radar plot here, this larger hail is going to be right along Martin Road, where you start going from east to west and you take that northeast turn up towards the Parkway and then down Weatherly Road and eventually on the other side of the mountain. So again, downtown Huntsville, a lot of rain, very heavy rain at times, and of course quite a bit of lightning. The lightning is just to the north of this mid-level rotation, and that's right in between there is where we have the larger hail.
And the thunderstorm warning has been continued till 6:45. So they're still reinforcing that for us.
Gotcha. Yeah. So again, that's a continuation of the warning. If you got weather radio, things like that to keep you informed, it'll likely tone again in some areas and let you know that they continue with that. Or at least if your weather radio's on, it will go through those motions. As far as Scottsboro goes, you are actually in this warning. Let me go ahead and expand this view here and let you know what time to expect that. In fact, the leading edge of this is about on the east side of Huntsville now. Moving east, I'm going to put this, I'm going to move it almost due east because they tend to turn a little bit more. So there's the latest update. Scottsboro, we've got you on there at 6:30. 30, so about 40 minutes from now. I do expect hopefully some weakening with this, but it's still intense, a lot of lightning, very heavy rain, and there's that potential, I stress potential, for some large hail. So far, no reports, but if this storm is producing hail, we're going to know pretty soon as it's moving through South Huntsville, heavily populated area. Woodville 609, Pleasant Grove 617, Scottsboro 631, Dutton and section right around 640 or so. Again, we're tracking damaging straight line wind potential. I think it'll be isolated within this thunderstorm and the possibility of some large hail. Jada, as you look back here, you just see a lot of rain here. So we're probably looking at some flooding, at least some street flooding at some point into the metro area.
I believe we did see a report earlier about Killingsworth Cove seeing some possible flooding.
Okay.
So we are kind of hearing from some folks outside. And as always, if you guys leave some comments for us to give us an idea of what's going on out in your area. But most of us are expecting to see, as we're here in Huntsville, we could see a good deal of flooding. I think that earlier in the beginning of it all, we were seeing a little bit of flooding coming from National Weather Service. They were telling us that a couple areas may have some flooded roadways. I think out near Red Bay for sure, but we're still going to see a good deal of these showers and storms moving into tonight, so that's going to be a little inevitable for a couple areas.
Yeah, and good call on the First Alert Weather Day, Jada, by the way. I just come off vacation, so yeah, good job on that. We got another one coming up Wednesday. I think the wind potential Wednesday is a little bit higher because there's going to be more momentum with a stronger cold front coming in. But not to say these aren't bad storms, because we've got a lot of rain out here, very heavy rain and frequent lightning going on. And I'm going to draw areas where I think our threat of severe weather is most likely over here as we go into the evening hours. As you get north of 72, I mean, I just don't see much energy left at all. Get down here towards Moulton. I think everybody north of this line and east and west of it, in fact, I want to emphasize west of this line, this threat's over, but there's still a possibility of some localized flash flooding, things like that. It's farther to the south and east. There's more instability there. And you can see that that's where all the lightning's been confined here with this storm over Huntsville right now. So let's get back in here.
We do have a report. Someone is saying there's no power in parts of East Limestone, so we may be seeing some power outages in a few areas.
Yeah, and it's always tough with storms like this because there's so much lightning. That it could be lightning related, or it could come in two forms. It could be a direct hit by the lightning at a power station, or it could be lightning knocks a tree limb down, or even a tree falls over and takes the power out. I do want to turn the lightning off and let you see the velocity here. Notice how it kind of went north and now it's kind of dropping to the east and southeast, so it's kind of wobbling a little bit. But this is a very intense thunderstorm and should be taken seriously. Moving into South Huntsville right now, the potential's there for large hail, damaging winds. There's also a tremendous amount of lightning and very heavy rainfall. So let's take a look at the shear rate here. This takes everything away and just shows us the most important area that we monitor for shear, and it's still fairly weak. So again, if we had anything in the red, I'd be a lot more concerned for a possible tornado, but at this point in time, it just doesn't look like that is coming together. So that's some really good news there to talk about as well. Back to velocity here. Again, just a well-defined storm here. And I do want to show you as we go on here and see where it's co-located. So we've got area rotation right here. Again, the green is going towards the radar in Jackson County. The red is going away, but in some cases it's just rotating the updraft as this storm goes up. And that's what creates the hail. And this is pretty much located right where the main updraft is on the storm. If it was farther to the south and a tighter area rotation, we would be a lot more concerned about a possible tornado. Again, the setup today is primarily that of damaging winds, isolated, a lot of lightning, and some larger hail out there. As we see it now, don't see a threat of a tornado, but this is definitely a strong thunderstorm. They've got a severe thunderstorm warning out. I believe that's until, let's see, 6:45?
Yes, 6:45.
Yeah. So again, we'll continue to monitor that. Of course, we're getting ready for our 6 o'clock newscast coming up here in less than 7 minutes. So that's when we're going to stop this coverage and we're going to go back to normal coverage, and we won't be doing continuous coverage on the air just because this type of storm, it warrants this type of coverage here occasionally, but it doesn't require wall-to-wall coverage here as this moves through. But again, that's where most of the lightning is, and that's going to continue to move through. Now moving east of the Parkway, but still a lot of lightning and very heavy rain right on the Parkway. Jade, anything else?
Absolutely. We can kind of hear it lightning up here at the station, but yes, we do have that still in effect, that severe thunderstorm warning till about 6:45. Haven't seen any updates so far from our folks, but a lot of people reporting lightning and thunder for sure, and that's to be expected with these clusters of storms that we're seeing that are kind of picking up a little.
Okay, are you monitoring the chat in there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. So I just want to make sure if anyone's reporting any hail, that we get that out, not only to the public, but to the Weather Service as well.
Sure.
Some of the lightning starting to kind of flash a little bit farther to the east of the main parent thunderstorm here. And it looks like we're seeing the wind field spread out a little. Look at that. See how it's spreading out? So overall, the storm's probably going to go through a weakening stage as we see those winds. And, you know, this storm was so wound up since it moved through Decatur and Madison that we're starting to see this wind field kind of expand out to the north. So area rotation not as concentrated, and it continues to kind of go north and south. So moving right over Green Mountain as we speak. Let's go ahead and get in street level here. We'll talk about hail.
I think we're seeing a few reports of small hail in South Huntsville and South Parkway hail possible as well.
Yep, that's where it's going to be, right here, moving through Lily Flag, the Grissom High School. It's on its way to Big Cove and Hampton Cove. So again, probably some dime-size hail from this storm. We're 4 minutes out from our newscast. Again, we'll keep you up to date on that. But again, this storm most likely has large hail, and when you get large hail, you typically have a strong updraft. And when that updraft kind of starts to fall apart, it can collapse, and that's when you can get damaging microburst type straight line winds within those storms as well. So let's zoom out here and show you this is probably the biggest storm we have. Yep, definitely. So by far, that kind of shows you why we're more focused here on Huntsville itself. So this hail moving towards Gurley, Owens Crossroads, Woodville, and the possibility of damaging straight line winds as well. Let me go ahead and put another storm track, and then we're going to get kind of go off the air, so to speak, from our streaming platforms, and then more join our newscast. So moving 36 miles per hour. I'm going to have to redraw that, it looks like. Didn't like what I drew. But again, I think we were around 640 or so.
Yes.
In Scottsboro with this thunderstorm if it holds together. So there we go. We'll put that at about 40 miles per hour. So this puts it in Scottsboro 634, Hollywood 641, Section and Dutton around 644, Pisgah 651. Before we leave, going to take one last look here at the potential for the winds here, the twisting wind. There's radar. And there's the wind. It's still, again, this is mainly rotating and producing the hail. We're going to take it back to regular coverage. We're going to shut down our digital and our stream and get ready for our 6 o'clock newscast on WFF 40 News. Appreciate you guys tuning in.